Good day, America. Great to talk to you today. We talked about the last show on the core four that you really need to keep going. So let's talk again. I talked about this before, but I'm going to go over those goals that you need to set for your health. The new year is coming upon us. Get your goals set now. Review them daily throughout the year. At the end of the year, which is now, prepare to see if you need to make any adjustments to the goals for next year, which is coming up really soon. So when we come to health goals, I want to have goals set that we can measure exactly where you're at today, tomorrow, or 100 years from now. If you have a goal that's readily measurable, you can see if you're staying the same, getting better, or worse. You can compare yourself to others. Not that it's the most important thing to do, but in longevity, if you're with the top 2-3% in these categories, man, it's going to help you live a lot longer, better quality of life. To have a better second half of your life than your first half. How can I say that? I'm 60. I'm preparing now for my second half of life. But most people are thinking about retirement, about going to doctors all the time, about worrying about this and this because I don't feel good. I'm cranky. I don't sleep good. I don't have good energy. My weight's out of control. I can't even hardly get my arm back to comb my hair and back, let alone get a jacket on. I don't want that. I want to keep everything going good. So you need to have goals that you can measure things exactly. And I divide those goals into two categories: static goals and dynamic goals. The static goals are easy ones that you probably do maybe, and that's the only one you do with health. And they really aren't the most important, but they're a great measurement. That is weight. You need to be at optimum weight for your body. There's not an exact weight. There's a range, usually about 20 or 30 pounds. If you're in that range, then that's going to be the best for your long-term health. Get that visceral fat down. So you might want to have a percent of body fat. You might want to have your visceral fat rating put down. That's the amount of fat that's deep down around the organs, around the heart, lungs, pancreas. If you have more heart around or more fat around your heart than you're supposed to, it puts more stress on your heart. You're more likely to have heart disease. If you have more fat around your lungs, it puts more stress on the lungs, more likely to have lung disease down the road. So get your visceral fat in order too. Another thing that's a static measurement besides weight and body fat and visceral fat rating would be something like measurement. How big is your waist size? How big is your hip size? Waist size is a great one to do. It's one of the best and most effective of all the measurements if you just do one. So those are the static goals. The other type of goals are dynamic. And remember, all these things that we're working on with the static and dynamic both is to help those core four for life principles we talked about. That is energy, sleep, weight, and flexibility. So we've got the static goals. The other type of goals are dynamic goals. And there's 5 of these. I think if you get these 5 covered, you're going to be able to do all the things you want to do in life. That's balance, flexibility, endurance, speed, and strength. I think you need all 5 of those. And I'll tell you why. Balance, to be able to get around and take care of yourself, you have to be able to balance. Otherwise, you're going to fall down, break your hip. A lot of people die after that. So you need to have balance, to be able to get around, be able to take care of yourself, to keep your independence, to keep your dignity, to be able to travel and see the world, to be able to spend time with your family, to be able to help others, to be able to do more of your purpose. You most likely, 99.9%, need good balance. So you have to have balance. And that's part of your brain function too. If you have good balance, your cerebellum's already shot, and that's going to affect other parts of your brain with reflexes. Flexibility. You should be able to touch the back of your hair, to be able to get your shirt on and off, to be able to bend down and touch your toes. If you don't have the flexibility to do that, your independence is gone right there. You need a certain amount of flexibility just to bring a spoon up to your mouth. You got to have flexibility to be able to travel, see the world. Think about flexibility with these things. To be able to spend time with their family, go to family outings, to get in and out of the vehicles, in and out of transportation things if you're going to travel the world. To be able to do exercise, you need to have flexibility. So all these things are important. They all interact with each other. You need to have endurance. You should be able to walk from here to the back of the grocery store and back to the front, go up and down stairs without huffing and puffing because you're just too tired. You can't do that anymore. So you need to have your endurance. Your respiratory cardiac system needs to be working good to help you go long-term wise. Not just for that event as far as going to the back of the store and back, but to keep your heart in good shape, to keep your lungs in good shape, to keep your vasculature system in good shape. You need to have speed. You don't need speed to survive. But I like speed as a goal measure because you can measure exactly where you're at, and it's going to impact a lot of different things. Because if you have speed, whether it's swimming from here to point A to point B in a certain time, or running here to there, or biking, whatever that speed drill is that the goal is that you measure. If you can do that, you've got to have strength to be able to push off and get going, start to get up to the speed. You've got to have endurance to go a certain amount of distance. If you're going to run 50 meters or swim 50 meters or whatever it is, you're going to have good flexibility to be able to do those things we just talked about. You got to have balance. So you have to have all those. That's why I love speed. And you can measure those. And I love speed because you can monitor where you are with world records for your age all through the world. You can go to the Senior Olympics, look for swimming, look for cycling, look for running, look for sprinting, and they all have world records in the top 10 times for age groups like 50 to 54, 55 to 59, 60 on up, 65 and 70 and 75, all the way up to 100. So you can see where you're at. Maybe you're in the top 10 or maybe you're close to that. That's cool. But you can see where you are at compared to the best measurements in the world for your age. That's why I love that speed goal. The last goal for dynamics is strength. You need to be able to have strength so you can get up and down. So you can lift yourself. You've got to have a certain amount of strength in your legs, your back, your hips, your arms and shoulders to be able to carry your own groceries in. To be able to get on and off that plane, on and off that boat, to be able to climb that mountain, to be able to do this exercise. That's why you need to have some strength goals. So those are the goals that you need to have to monitor where you are now, and you can compare yourself exactly at the end of next year or when you're 60 or 80 or 120. And you know if you've maybe gotten better from 60 to 80 in this one category, or maybe you've fallen off a bunch in these other categories. If you're falling off a lot in one, that maybe you need to work on that category more because something's going on with your body there. So I love having these goals where you can measure and get an exact number where you are and see where you are and where you're going better, worse, or the same. All right. That is the world's best health coach, helping you live a better life, live longer. I love you guys. That's why I do this stuff. Refer me to others. If you like this stuff, subscribe, tell other people about this because this is so important that other people aren't getting this information. You're not going to hear this elsewhere with health goals. If you look online for health goals, all you're going to see is get your weight where it should be or maybe run a marathon. That's not good enough. That's not going to take you where you want to go, where you need to go. So make sure you tell other people about this life-changing information because you have to have this. You have to, and you're not getting it elsewhere. All right, love you guys. See you on the next show.